So we're chatting about a couple different things here on today's pod. We were chatting a little bit before we hit record, so we might as well hit record and just throw you guys right into the mix here. But Alex and I are chatting about a couple different things. We're talking about how each individually and every one of us kind of has a certain capacity. And so if we're talking about careers, if we're talking about your job, if we're talking about things that you do, maybe even just for fun, but maybe you've noticed, and we're talking about specifically the things where you have to be engaged as a person, whether you're giving presentations, whether you're doing a sales pitch, whatever it is, something where you have to show up for other people and you kind of have to put your feelings and how you're doing that day to the side. So that's kind of what we're chatting about today. I would love to kind of hear more about your story, what's going on, man, and kind of a little bit more of what we were briefly talking about, and maybe some things that you personally go through. And then what have you found to be successful to kind of work through those things? And then maybe some alternatives, some stuff like that. So like tell us a little bit about what you're going through, just so we can catch everybody up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a really good conversation that we're having. And sometimes we'll just like hit record and just kind of go at it. Cause I think this can be helpful for people, whatever you're doing. So like right now, my job it's in-person sales. So like you go in and like I'm in somebody else's home, and, through the first year plus of doing it, like I've gone through the roller coaster of like kind of showing up, maybe not feeling the best, not having the best attitude. And, what I've realized, I realized this before it, but like people can feel your energy, right? Your attitude towards life, whether it's like just in a regular interaction with somebody, in a job setting, in a sales setting with a client, whatever it is, like your attitude is contagious, right? This is one of the big reminders that I have every day. It's like smile, have fun, like bring that contagious energy, because for one, like it makes life a lot better. Like you can actually change your state with like a smile and with like a different attitude, and almost force yourself into a better day, like pretty quickly. But also that's not to say too, like if you are like feeling sad or depressed or whatever, like, whatever that may be, it's, important, I think, to dig into those feelings too. But at the end of the day, like sometimes we have a job to do and we have to show up in a certain way, and like being able to flip that switch and like train yourself to be able to show up with a better attitude, people pick up on that. And what I've tried to remind myself too is like, we don't know what people are going through, right? I think sometimes it's easy to have somebody react like negatively, or to like not react at all to you, or like you say hi to somebody, they don't even say anything back, and to like think that has something on you. And it's like, what the fuck? Like why? When in reality, maybe they're just having a bad day, right? Yeah. And so I kind of, for my job, I go into, generally 1 to 2 homes a day. And, my goal as of late has been like, trying to like bring like a very positive, great attitude, fun attitude. And hopefully if they are having a bad day, like this can be the best part about their day. I can crack some stupid jokes and like make this experience for Windows as fun as it possibly could be. Right. So I think that's a huge thing that I've been thinking a lot about, is just how contagious your attitude is.
You hit it on the head, man. It is contagious, whether we realize it or not, So like if you go into that scenario, and my scenario that I'm personally thinking about that I've gone through is like, I've done sales as well, but I've also done, you and I were talking about coaching, right? Classes in person. And so our goal is always to make it a priority to, hey, these 20, 25, 30 people that you're in front of right now for the next hour, we have our priority is to make it their best portion of their day, their best hour of the day. That's the goal. And so it immediately forces me personally to drop how I'm feeling, what's going on in my life. To your point, like you said, it's not that we're in this position of like, don't feel those things and like just neglect them and ignore them. It's not what we're saying. I think it's inevitable that we're going to feel that way. But the challenge now becomes, okay, can I put my personal feelings aside, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, what's going on in my life, and show up for these other people? And now I'm in an act of service to these other people. And it's funny when you like, and I don't know if you've experienced this too, but like, say you're feeling down in the dumps, say you're feeling drained, say you're feeling negative about something, and you have to show up to that house, or I know I have to show up to that class, and I have to coach in front of those people. Yeah, it sucks. There's a friction point of like, man, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't feel like it right now. But all of a sudden, I think it's kind of like working out. You kind of get in the motion of things. Your blood starts flowing. You brought up before we jumped on this call, you're like, I've done this pitch so many times and I've gone through this script so many times that I don't have to like do it word by word. It kind of just comes out through me. And I'm wondering if you kind of like feel yourself, despite how you felt before, maybe it was terrible, but you kind of like get in your zone and you get in your rhythm and you're just like, oh, here we go. And now you start to shift. You start to go, oh, I don't feel so terrible. I don't feel so negative or pessimistic like how I did before I walked in this door. I'm actually in my zone now and I've completely forgot about me because I'm here busy trying to serve somebody else. Have you experienced that? Have you felt that?
Oh yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
huge. And like our first part of our process is like just like developing a relationship with the person, right? So it's like
Build
intimate,
rapport. Yeah.
having fun, figuring out
Yep.
what they like, right? It's like and it eases me a lot too, where it's like I can get to know somebody. It's like, oh, you like, like you kind of find common ground with somebody and it's like, this person's pretty cool, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe they're like really resistant to it, like really resistant to having you in their home. And like you can kind of like sometimes I'll, crack some stupid jokes or like, just that smile and just that attitude can like bring them out. They're like, you know what, this guy's pretty cool. Like, and then it kind of opens you up to have like a conversation about harder topics like during the course of that appointment. But I've found too, like one of the bigger things, and I've talked about this on the podcast in certain episodes, that I do this in my day, and I found that this is really helpful for my life in general, but also for the job. And it's just like thinking about the possibilities, the positives and the possibilities, the things I'm grateful for, and the positives of my life, which are, it's a lot more things going on in my life right now that are positive than negative. I struggle to find a lot of negatives, but it's a lot easier to like have one or two negatives and to focus your attention on those, or to focus your attention on like something that made you feel a certain way, or to like the just generally speaking, a lot of us are in a pretty good place when you think about how some people live in this world,
For sure.
right? Or some
Yeah.
things that people are going through. And so I
That's a
try to
great
think about
perspective.
that every day, at least twice a day. And then the possibilities is a huge thing too, because again, like it's easy to think about like the negative things and like, oh, like what ifs, right?
Mhm.
But I think about the positive possibilities. Like what are the amazing possibilities for this day?
Mm.
What are the amazing possibilities for my life? Like how do I want, like what's like the best case scenario? And what would I love? How would I want to build this life? How about this day? Like this could be the best day ever. Like I could have like such a fun day. I could show up in the best way possible, and I could have the most amazing appointment with the coolest homeowners. Right? It's like that's how I try to think. And then going like when I'm driving to the appointment, I'll be honest. Sometimes like I'm like fuck, it's like a 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like the last thing I want to do is go run this. I want to just sit on my couch, right? I just want to watch
For
some
sure.
TV with Marissa
Yeah.
and like have a good night.
Yeah.
But I try to like train myself to just be like, you know what, but this could be like the coolest, like the most amazing appointment I ever have. Like these people could be so cool and I could have a lot of fun. And then that kind of is like, it puts me into a different state before I go in, where it's like, you know what, I could show up in the best way and maybe I make their day because like they were having a bad day, but they see me in this like better mindset, and then it kind of pulls them out. And so those are some big things that I have found that they don't just apply to a job or anything like that, but they apply to life in general. Where if you can start to train yourself, which I've talked about it, like my notes, like I use my notes app, and every morning, so I go on a walk in the morning, and I go through them like gratitude, just the things that I'm grateful for in life, and try to change them up each day, make them like smaller, bigger things. I go through the possibilities, like the amazing possibilities for the day. And then I think about all the things that I want for my life. Right.
Mm.
And then I go through a smile. I have a reminder to smile. It's like you could change somebody's day with a smile. I have like just like a more of like a faith one, where it's like, if you just do things the right way, stuff's going to work out the way you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go through my goals and those different phrases that I've talked about. Like I have different phrases that kind of things that I want to focus on throughout every day and keep top of mind. And then my goals, and then like just intention, like just kind of being intentional with my time and with my presence. And so those are some big things that help me a lot with this.
Dude, those are some gold nuggets. Like you said, it's not just the scenarios that we were talking about. I think that's just in life, right? And so I find myself too, going through some of those practices, and when I'm really consistent, I've been speaking to myself a different way, right? Like I've been speaking to
Hmm.
myself more positively. I've been looking at my situation and in scenario more from a position of gratitude rather than damn what I don't have, or like shit, this is going on right now, that I'm struggling with this sucks. Well, yeah, of course, like that's the given. It's funny you bring that up right now because I'm rereading The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and so like when you're talking about how you're feeling on your way to that call or on your way to the house, the appointment, and you could be feeling like shit, man, like this, like I don't want to do this. I just rather be chilling on the couch. And then you have that conversation. I think it's good for us to remember that like we have to be conscious of the seeds that we're planting in our head because they're so important. They don't just go for this meeting that we're going to go do right now. It's like, no, we're ingraining those into our hardware. They're going to come up in other scenarios in our life as well. So if we're constantly just thinking like, shit, this sucks, I'd rather be doing this, I don't want to do that. Yeah, those are the normal, like the defaults. But what if you can encourage yourself to actively think in a different way, like almost going against the grain? Like everybody thinks like that, right? Like I think that's our default. And so if you can plant more positive or optimistic seeds in your brain, imagine what kind of fruit you're going to yield from those seeds that you've planted, right? And we talk about it too. It's just like how you're feeling right now is a circumstance and an outcome based on your previous week, your previous 6 weeks, your previous 6 months. Like, what have you been putting in your brain? What have you been, and I don't mean just like physically eating food, but digesting mentally as well, too, right? And like, what kind of person are you showing up as? Are you showing up as this person that's been planting those seeds and tending to them? Are you somebody who plants the seeds and you're so negative all the time that you just keep ripping them back up? You don't allow those fruits of your labor to sprout. And so I think it's really important that the nuggets that you just shared of being like, hey man, what if this is the best scenario that I could walk into right now? What if I meet some awesome people? Like, what if it's a great networking opportunity? Like, what if it's something that like I can help change these people's lives because they're buying our product? Like, whatever it is. But I love that you're just like, I'm going to feed this to myself. And it may not be, it doesn't matter, but it's all in the approach, right? It's all in like, now you're going to show up more like you talked about, a smile on your face. Now you're going to show up subconsciously with a smile on your face when you talk to these people, which there's so many things that are flying under the radar that don't have to be like spoken, but they're it's an energy thing, right? Like it's a feel thing. And so you show up, shoulders shrugged down, not making eye contact, so focused on what you're doing, what's going on in your life. Hey guys, how's it going? And you just try to fake it. It's like, dude, they feel that immediately. And so sometimes we don't realize that, and that we're giving off energy, and it could be negative. It could be not as friendly, right? But in our mind, we're just like, oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but you might be showing up as that because that's the energy you're
Yeah.
giving off, right? And so it's interesting, man. It's cool. I think it's more tapping into, can you feel the emotions that are attached with, man, I don't feel like doing this. Man, this sucks. I'd rather be doing something else. Feel those are a given. And then go, okay, can I plant some positive seeds here? Can I plant some seeds that are actually going to be beneficial for me if I truly think about them, if I truly repeat them in my mind consciously, so that eventually, subconsciously, I show up as this happy, optimistic, positive person. But it's only because I've done the work going almost against the grain of this pessimistic mindset, of this like less than mindset. It's I think that's everybody's default, because for obvious reasons, there's just so much crazy shit going on in the world. So it's easy to think like, oh, this sucks. I think by default, our society, and it shows that we're just lazy, right? We're lazy as people. We're not everybody's in shape. We're obese as a society, like that. If we know that's the default, then what's to say you can't take a step in the positive direction, doing some of the things that you're talking about, of like, maybe this might be the best meeting that I walk into. This might be the best interaction I have today since my duration of being at this job. This might change my life. This might change their life. And you go into it with that, even though it may not be the outcome, but you go into it with that kind of approach, dude, right? Like that the
Yeah.
outcome's not in our control, right? Like if they buy or they don't buy, whatever. But how did you show up? How did you choose to show up? I think that's most important. I'm not just talking about like your situation with your job. I think we just do that in life, right? And if we can double down on those controllables, whether somebody says yes or no in the interview, cool. That's great. Did I show up as me? Did I show up as the most positive, optimistic, badass, fun, enjoyable version of me? Or was I subconsciously giving off signals of like, man, this dude isn't fun to be around. He's going through some shit and I could tell. Right. I'm
Mhm.
not saying like mask your emotions, but when you got to show up for other people and there's other people counting on you, like, dude, we're not irrelevant. Any one of us individually by ourselves is not irrelevant, right? We got to be able to serve. I think it's in that act. This is something that's helped me is like when I'm so in my head, luckily my business revolves around this, but I find enjoyment in showing up for other people. And when I can show up and serve other people, I'm no longer thinking about me. I'm no longer in my own head. And I think a lot of us are in our own heads. We're thinking of worst case scenarios. We're thinking how much this sucks. Like, just do something that you're naturally good at. That's probably the easiest transition, and just serve somebody else. And like, how can you help somebody else? How can you make somebody else's day better? Like if you see somebody with their chin and their chest and they're moping around, like maybe it's something as simple as a smile to a stranger, like you said, dude, like, and immediately you stop thinking about you, right? Like you stop making this whole thing about you and getting up in your head, and man, positive things can happen, dude.
Yeah. Well, and it's so uncommon to, I feel like, to smile. Like these days, like people barely even say hi to each other. Like
For sure.
I see it on my walks, right? Like there's certain people you say hi to, and it's like you know they heard you, but they just keep fucking trucking them off, you know. And you're
I
like,
just took
and
an
it's
L
like,
on that one.
you
Yeah.
know. And so I think what I would kind of leave with, you said a lot of amazing things there, is just one thing that can help. That it's in my list as well that I didn't mention is there's like the thinking about like how you want people to remember you. Like, because I mean, Alex Ramosi always talks about, I mean, nobody's going to remember you in like a generation from now, which is, makes it so you should feel comfortable doing maybe some things that maybe you don't. But I think one frame that's nice that's helped me too is like, how do I want to show? Like, it's like, how do I want to show up? Like, how do I want people to speak about me at my funeral? Right. Where it's like, oh, he worked his ass off. Like, he never quit. Like, God, he always smiled. Like, his attitude was contagious. Like these different things. Like, oh, he was so like he loved everyone that all his friends and family and everybody. Like he loved everybody, right? And I think if you probably know these people, but there's a few people I can think of that I've come in contact with or been friends with over the course of time or played on teams with. That it was like, God, I've never seen that guy not smiling.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that person's like always in a good mood, and you can't help but not feel better around that person, right?
Yeah.
And that person also goes through tough days,
Mm-hmm.
but like they've lifted other people up, or like I'd be lifted up by them some days when I'm like maybe not feeling good, but you're around and you're like, oh, this guy's fucking awesome. Like
Totally.
he's just always like bringing you up and always just smiling. And it's not to say again like that you can't feel a certain way, but I think and it's not to say that you have to always do that, right? But it is
Right.
to say that like there's something about like a smile and a good attitude that can make you feel so much better, or make make another person feel so much better. So that's kind of what I would end on there. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. This was fun to talk about, just something that was top of mind for, it seems like, both of us here. And so if you did enjoy it, I think this is a really good one you could send somebody else's way. If you think that they could benefit from it, or you really like this one, send this one somebody else's way. We really appreciate it. We hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll be talking to you soon.